Lots of people have been saying that Apple is going to scan your personal photos on your iPhone, and that probably sounds scary. I think it should sound scary because it is scary. Apple is saying it's for the kids. Is it really though?
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Here's what's going on. Governments have databases of CSAM, or child sexual abuse material, photos, videos, and Apple's goal is to catch child predators. It's hard to disagree with the goal of protecting children.
I've seen nobody complain about that portion of what Apple is proposing.
Different governments have these databases of the images. Apple is going to distill those down into digital signatures, which are random strings of letters and numbers. Then what Apple wants to do is download that entire database of every digital signature or perceptual image hash onto everybody's iPhone each time an iOS update comes out. So you'll get this giant data file with all the different digital signatures. Then your iPhone will scan all of your photos to see if any of them match the digital signatures that are part of the database. If you have more than 30 matches of these photos, Apple will manually review them, like a low resolution version of it is what they're saying. And then if they confirm that you actually do have at least 30 photos, they'll disable your iCloud account, report you to, in the US, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, who then will report you to law enforcement, and then you will go to jail.
There are a lot of problems with what Apple is proposing. First and foremost, this is essentially an image detection algorithm that can be used for anything.
Let's say that a bunch of people live in a country with an oppressive government and people are sharing memes of the government leader. The government leader decides that they want to scan for those memes in everybody's iCloud account. So then all the people that don't like this government leader are now grouped together. The government knows who they are and they can go and shoot them or something, okay? So that's like a legitimate concern. Building lists of people if they're not using it for child sexual abuse material, and this is why they're packaging it in the children way, protect the children, because like, it's hard to argue with that. But it can also be used to target certain groups of people, and that could have real-world consequences.
It's a very slippery slope.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
The reason why Apple says the database of child sexual abuse material is secure is that a photo has to appear in 2 separate jurisdictions for it to show up in Apple's database and then your iPhone scan and detect it, because Apple is saying that there's no way that 2 separate governments would be able to collude with each other to add these images. Let's say it's a political leader or a picture of the Star of David or a picture, there's all sorts of
governments working together.
I know.
Who's ever heard of such a thing?
Who's heard of this? There's no way that governments could do that. So 2 different jurisdictions, Apple doesn't have access to the database. So Apple is saying like, oh, we don't know what they're scanning for.
Think of the children.
Is this really about the kids? Well, Edward Snowden makes the point. If Apple was serious about cutting down on CSAM, they wouldn't make it so easy for anyone who has it on their phone to just turn off iCloud photos and then done.
Right, that's it. That's all you have to do. So instead of actually scanning all the photos on these pedophiles' iPhones, they only care about the ones that are going to their servers.
Oh, I think that's the point,
Right.
We don't want this on our servers.
On our servers.
Out of sight, out of mind. That's on their
Right.
phone. That's not our problem anymore.
Right. How many pedophiles are actually storing these photos in iCloud Photos?
Well, we're going to find out because this is going to get rolled out. They're going to catch a handful of them.
Right, and they're
take the
gonna
victory
say,
lap.
exactly.
Mission accomplished.
Yep.
And then
roll it out to more stuff.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this? It's all to protect Apple, and I really don't see a benefit for the kids all that much. I mean, unless these people are using iCloud shared photo albums to
How
share.
about this?
I don't get it.
They roll it out. They are super successful, and they immediately turn it off, and it's done.
That'd be nice, but it's not
that?
the way it works. They're saying that they don't want to do the scanning on iCloud servers because that would constitute a breach of personal privacy. So they're doing it on our phones and then not telling people. The nerd in me wants to know, how big is this database going to be of all the CSAM digital signatures like in the world from all the countries? How big is this going to be? It's going to be giant.
I was thinking that newer phones, they could kind of ship it out with maybe like an extra storage chip, but existing phones, it's just going to have to go.
Yeah, they're not going to do that though.
Yeah.
They're not going to spend the money to act because they don't care.
I'm already kind of running low on storage space.
How much battery life is going to be used scanning every single one of your photos when you take it and reducing it down to this digital fingerprint? I wonder if that's why they're not doing it on their servers, because it costs money and they don't want to pay for the power.
That's possible.
It's just give it to the people and tell them it's for their personal privacy. I don't like this idea at all. So Apple, after an uproar, put out a statement. They said, as of September 3rd, 2021, previously we announced plans for features intended to help protect children from predators who use communication tools to recruit and exploit them and to help limit the spread of child sexual abuse material. They sound really like knights in shining armor here.
We won't get tired this time.
Based on feedback from customers, advocacy groups, researchers, and others, everybody, we have decided to take additional time over the coming months to collect input and make improvements before releasing these critically important child safety features. Bull. They're not critically important child safety features. They are features that are going to compromise the security, not of pedophiles who will just turn off a switch, but people who want to share photos of their Hanukkah celebration.
Now, after hearing that Apple was putting a pause, we said, oh, do we really need to record this video? But it is just a pause. There's going to be additional steps. This isn't going to go away.
Right.
It's especially not going to go away if people stop talking about it entirely.
Right, yeah. So this is the time to really say no, and I think it might even take contacting government officials to then get on board with this, because Apple has really just sort of buried what they're actually doing underneath this layer of think of the children.
One thing I noticed when Craig Federighi was being interviewed by the Wall Street Journal about this, he kept making the point that users were just confused, like, oh, nothing's actually wrong, you're just an idiot.
And it should be clear, this is not what is happening. A lot of messages got jumbled, widely misunderstood.
I really don't like when authorities try to make that, like, oh, you're actually stupid. They're kind of gaslighting you into thinking this isn't a real issue.
Right.
But if you look at the people who are really speaking out about this, it is privacy experts, security experts who are saying, hold on, this might be really, really bad.
You have to understand the math behind it, like the encryption algorithms, which I don't understand, to understand that it's a bad idea in real life. Who at Apple is going to get these jobs where they're going to be sitting there reviewing whether or not a picture is CSAM? That's a weird job description. I
bet it'll pay quite well.
I would say not safe for work, but this is your work.
Saying no to this does not mean that you're saying yes to child abuse. Like, that's sort of what the implication is. It doesn't mean that you support that in any way. It doesn't mean that you're soft on child predators or think that they should be, not sent to jail immediately. It just means that you care about your personal privacy and that a few child predators, and obviously there are a lot of them, I'm not trying to minimize it, should not be able to cause a company like Apple to sacrifice the rest of our personal privacy.
It's a nuanced issue. Don't let them make it black and white.
Could have just said that at the beginning. Yeah, it's true. 100%. Thank you for watching. What do you think? Please subscribe.
Leave a comment down below.
Share it with your friends. Yeah, this should be one of the more controversial ones. So thank you.